Heavy downpour in Colombo, several roads flooded, hampering vehicular movement. 23 injured in Balavatta building collapse. Rescue operations continue. 8 university students remanded for defying court orders. Doctors to strike yet again over private medical colleges.
Good evening and welcome. You're with News First, your #1 news provider. I am Shamil Rasuldeen.
And I'm Sonali Manikapatake. Here's a look at the stories that made it to the news tonight. The very heavy downpour of rain, mainly in the Colombo area this afternoon, was caused by the southwestern monsoon becoming active, according to the Department of Meteorology.
The heavy rainfall was accompanied by gale force winds and lightning. According to the Met Department, Colombo experienced a rainfall of 78.8 millimeters from 8:30 this morning to 2:30 this afternoon. Many areas in Colombo and its suburbs were flooded due to the lack of a proper stormwater drain system. Heavy traffic was also reported in those affected areas. This was the situation in areas of Tunmulla, Technical Junction and Kinsey Road. Operations on the Kalini Valley railway line was disrupted after a tree uprooted onto the tracks. Several houses in Subutipura in Battaramulla suffered damages due to gale winds. A pandal in Kiribati collapsed as a result of strong winds. Our correspondent said that 4 vehicles parked in an adjacent road were damaged. The Department of Meteorology forecasts showers or thunder showers in the western, Sabaragamuwa, southern, central and northwestern provinces. In addition, sea areas of the coast extending from Putlam to Trincomalee via Mana and sea areas of the coast extending from Hambantota to Potuville may be rough at times, as wind speeds could increase up to 60 to 70 kilometers per hour.
The downpour also caused flooding in the Kolonava area. Speaking to News First, the Divisional Secretary of Kolonava, Sugat Sisira Kumara, had this to say.
The heavy rains this afternoon caused flooding around the garbage dump and in the area that was affected by the collapse of the garbage dump. The area immediately outside the danger zone has also been inundated. So we have taken steps to evacuate the families residing there to Vidyavardhana College. We have arranged shelter for them there. Furthermore, the paddy storage facility we were using for temporary shelter has also been inundated. We have dug a drain there and we expect that the problem will be resolved by tomorrow. The floodwaters are receding, so we can hope that the problem will not be aggravated.
Dramatic footage coming in from the site of the building collapse in Balavatta, where rescue operations continue to take place to locate survivors trapped under the rubble. The valiant efforts of the security forces and the fire brigade saved the life of this victim. What led to this situation? A 5-story building in Balavatta collapsed this morning, leaving 24 people hospitalized. Rescue operations are underway in search for more survivors. The cause of the collapse is still unknown and the owner is still at large.
The rear section of the building, which is a reception hall and is located behind the Savoy Cinema, collapsed around 10:30 this morning. The rescue operations are being carried out by personnel of the Sri Lanka Army, Sri Lanka Navy, Police, Police Special Task Force and the Fire Service Department.
We heard a loud noise and in about 5 minutes the building had come down. We came running and pulled out 6 people. 2 of our vehicles were buried under the rubble. The people working here are in the top and ground floors. We were told that many of the employees and masons are trapped inside. At the moment, 2 people are missing inside. One of them is a woman.
A few vehicles at a nearby parking lot were also damaged.
There is no information as to how many people were in the building at the time. We hope to locate the contractor of the building and get some substantive information. We cannot ascertain that as yet without the proper information, but we will give you the details as soon as we know something. The situation is risky because the building has tilted.
15 of the people who were injured in the collapse were admitted to the Colombo South Teaching Hospital. A hospital spokesperson said none of the patients are in critical condition.
It happened so fast, we had no time to even run. Everything collapsed on me while I was running. While I was sending the sand upstairs, everything started collapsing and I ran inside. I got buried under the rubble. Thank God I was able to get out. I had to crawl out. I heard screams behind me. I do not know what happened to them. There were about 100 people inside the building. I do not know what happened to the rest. There were around 20 of us on the ground floor, but together there are quite a lot of people.
The standards of the building are quite old, but it has been repaired. But even to make these repairs, you need the approval of the planning unit of the urban council. So the planning unit will only approve the construction plan if the proper standards are met. We are now inquiring as to whether this process has been followed.
9 others who were injured in the accident were admitted to the Colombo National Hospital. Director of the hospital, Dr. Anil Jarsinghar, said the wounded are receiving treatment at the intensive care unit. Was the plan of the building approved by the urban council? If so, how? Was the building inspected and a certificate of compliance issued for a reception hall?
Implementation of the GSP Plus concession to the European market comes into force. In an exclusive interview with Newsfirst, the EU ambassador to Sri Lanka and the Maldives, Tung Lai Mag, remarked on additional improvements required to increase foreign direct investment.
Well, I think that a major element of progress that could be made is around the tender procedures. Because if there is not a transparent and non-discriminatory procedure in the way foreign investors are being handled when they are applying for tenders, then it's quite discouraging. And to be frank, it also opens the way to suspicion about corruption going on. And this is the last thing that investors want to have, the uncertainty about where they are going to put their money. And that's the reason why we have been talking quite a lot to the government about the improvements that could be made in that area, under various angles. Not only putting in place the procedures, but implementing them in a proper way, and also ensuring that there is no hurdle about the complexity of the procedures. They need to be more transparent, easier to be understood. They shouldn't be used to disguise a way of excluding certain companies.
Ambassador Mag also focused on the management of public finances.
Well, there are a number of areas of concerns, but most importantly, what we want to do together with your government is to be able to support also the reform process. Let's take one or two examples. You mentioned the need to improve the financial management, the public financial management of the country. We fully agree. By the way, we are not the only ones. There's also the IMF who wants the same thing, and the World Bank. So what are we going to do then? Well, we thought that in order to provide support, it would be very important to enhance the capacity of how not only the Parliament, because they are a key actor in looking at how the money is being spent, but also how the structures, the administrative structures of your government will be reinforced to ensure that modern ways of accountability, of transparency will be put forward. And this is something that we are going to do through our annual program that will be starting for this year.
Well, you can certainly watch the full interview on Biz in Focus next Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. on TV1.
The National Hospital in Colombo has reported serious obstructions faced by ambulances attempting to bring patients into the building.
A situation has arisen where ambulances carrying emergency patients face difficulty when entering the hospital premises due to the large number of three-wheelers that are parked along the entry road to the hospital. The hospital authorities stated that the activities of the emergency ward are also hampered due to this.
The issue is that these three-wheelers being parked in the Norris Canal are blocking the emergency ward and the neuro-coma unit. Ambulances have to wait till the three-wheelers are moved. We think that if the three-wheelers have an allocated parking slot, this can be easily resolved.
A program was organized in the Mullivaikal area in Mullathur today in remembrance of the people who were killed during the latter stages of the war.
The event was graced by opposition leader R. Sambandhan and the Chief Minister of the Northern Province, C.V. Vigneshwaran.
Tamil-speaking people should work in unity wherever they are. Even though we have political and religious differences, we should work together. Our people are facing difficulties within the country as well as overseas. Today was the day all of us united. The international community too is looking at us and this event. If we are to know the truth, what happened during the war should be revealed. There were no witnesses to the war as representatives of the Red Cross, the UN and other international bodies were sent out of the country. The government says that there were 60,000 people in this area, but there were 400,000 living here. What happened should be revealed.
On the eve of Victory Day, Minister of Housing and Construction Sajid Premadasa took the opportunity to discuss plans to resolve the housing problems faced by military families.
An event was organized today to commend 1,200 employees of the National Housing Authority for their services.
Tomorrow is Victory Day. We have begun the journey to make the dreams of the valiant soldiers who won the second independence struggle of this country a reality. 3,650 families of soldiers are without proper housing. Before the tenure of the President ends in 2020, we will make the housing dream of those 3,650 families a reality.
8 university students who were arrested during yesterday's IUSF demonstration against private and medical colleges were remanded until tomorrow. This was the Inter-University Students Federation protest. They were produced before Colombo Chief Magistrate Lal Ranasinghe Bandara last night.
Today, the Students' Federation of the Peradeniya University staged a demonstration against the tear gas attack carried out by police on the protesting university students. They moved onto one lane of the Colombo Kandy main road, causing severe traffic congestion. The Inter-University Students' Federation staged this protest against private medical colleges yesterday, against a backdrop where an enjoining order had been issued preventing them from demonstrating in a manner that inconvenienced the general public.
The students entered the Vihar Mahadevi Park. Thereafter, what reason did the government have to disperse the students who assembled, citing that they were inconveniencing the public?
We cannot remain silent anymore. On Monday, we will enter into a token strike from 2 a.m. to 12 noon. This is a warning to the government.
Doctors call themselves intellectuals. If they are intellectuals, they must accept the court ruling. Who initiated Saitam? It was Mahinda Rajapaksa. He even gave 600 million rupees in funding. The so-called intellectuals did not oppose it back then. They are opposing this 6 years later. This is not a trade union action. It is politics. In July 2015, 10 specialists studied this for 3 days and presented a report. Based on that report, the Minister of Health said that the graduates from this institution are not suitable to be registered for clinical practice. One graduate sought assistance from the Court of Appeal. It gave a ruling to immediately commence registration despite whatever the opinion of the 10 specialists was. We will not do that. We will not allow underqualified graduates to be given the responsibility of the patients' lives. Please do not assume that my statements indicate that students from Saitam should never be given registration to practice. We have not reached any decision to bar them from becoming doctors. What we say is this: the education of these students must be looked into carefully, and if there are any shortcomings, they cannot be registered with the Sri Lanka Medical Council. With regard to Saitam, the President intervened and provided a number of acceptable solutions. You cannot have the entire pound of flesh. There is a political hand behind all of this. It is clear that the anti-Saitam activists are being used to secure political objectives.
Former Deputy Minister S.M. Chandrasena arrived at the Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division today.
The FCID has questioned the minister on an alleged financial irregularity that happened during the time S.M. Chandrasena served as the Deputy Minister of Economic Development. In the Maha season of 2014, we provided corn seeds to farmers at a concessionary rate. Someone must have filed a petition. I was asked to come here to provide a statement in connection to that investigation. I will have to come here again. S.M. Chandrasena was instrumental in working towards showing that the majority power of the North Central Provincial Council was held by the joint opposition. I think I am made to come here for such matters because of the change that we are causing. If we were in the joint government, we will not have such problems. I think we have this many issues because we are in the joint opposition. Out of the 17 provincial councillors who provided affidavits to topple the North Central PC, who will extend their support to the Chief Minister next. A cash reward of 50,000 rupees will be given to the person with the correct answer. Log on to www.newsfirst.lk.
Now, last night, Newsfirst reported on activities of a distillery in the Dompe area. The company which owns the distillery has responded to the report, raising more questions for the Commissioner General of Excise.
The distillery, located down Jayanti Road in Imbulwela, Dompe, is owned by Hingurana Distilleries Private Limited. Newsfirst revealed yesterday that a majority of the spirits manufactured at this distillery are distributed to W.M. Mendes & Co. Limited. W.M. Mendes & Co. Limited is a subsidiary of a group of companies owned by Arjun Aloysius, the son-in-law of the former Central Bank Governor Arjuna Mahendran.
I
think it was about a month and a half to 2 months ago. There may have been a higher demand during the past few years, so they had made an order from us. We received an authorization document for this order and we issued the amount of spirits this company required. Once the Commissioner General of Excise authorizes the spirits manufactured at this company to be distributed to other companies, we issue the spirits. If any company in the country has the authorization of the Commissioner General of Excise to manufacture liquor, then we distribute our products. It is not us who decides to whom we distribute to.
නිකුත් කරනවා. ඒක ලබා දෙන ආයතනය තීරණය කරන්නේ අපි නෙමෙයි.
The production manager also responded to the claims by the locals in the area that the distillery has created a number of environmental hazards.
ස්පීතු නිෂ්පාදනය කිරීම සඳහා අපිට සුරාබදු කොමසාරිස්
We have the authorization of the Commissioner General of Excise to manufacture spirits, and all our functions are being carried as per this permit. There are in-house excise representatives here, and these spirits are being manufactured under their supervision. It was brought to our attention that certain waste is being released to the drainage system by this distillery. So I was immediately informed by our board of directors this morning to do what is required. News First will continue to reveal details on those who have been charged with being involved in the controversial bond scam and are now investing in alcohol distilleries. We are ready for a response from the Commissioner General of Excise and other related parties.
It was revealed before the Presidential Commission of Inquiry that additional funding by the government should require a ratification from Parliament. News First, Zulfiq Farzan reports.
MSD Ranasiri, the former Director General of the Department of Treasury Operations, testified on oath that he was not aware of the letter signed by the Finance Minister requesting for 72 billion rupees to be raised in order to make payments for road development projects. The letter, which was produced before the Commission on Tuesday, had been addressed to Governor of the Central Bank. The witness testified that the Treasury Operations Department did not make any request for such fundraising from the Public Debt Department during February 2015. Ranasiri stated that if requests for unexpected payments are made, funds can be released according to the provisions of the Appropriation Bill. If government organizations come across or uncover unexpected payments or cash requirements, those organizations must submit that to the Treasury, which will thereafter submit that requirement to the Cabinet of Ministers. After it is passed in the Cabinet, a supplementary estimate must be presented to Parliament and passed in order to make those cash allocations. He further said that no final decision was reached at the meeting between the Minister of Finance and road development project contractors in March 2015. He added that there was no request made to release additional funding for tasks of the previous year. The witness noted that the TOD has no right to release funds that have not been included in the appropriation bill for the respective year, as the bill sets money aside for specific spending. Ranasiri testified that the Public Debt Department cannot raise funds without consulting the Treasury. The witness also denied claims made previously that he failed to appear at Domestic Debt Management Committee meetings. He said that he did not attend 3 DDMC meetings during 7 years due to other pressing government matters relating to the economy, but attended all the other meetings. Journalists and members of the public were requested to leave the commission after recess as the evidence of Vasanta Alves, the additional director of IT at the Central Bank, was recorded in camera. It was done so as he was questioned on the transactions that had taken place in the primary and secondary markets, which are termed as sensitive information.
Anti-corruption activists convened a joint media briefing today. Views were expressed on the investigations into the bond scam.
Money earned through the bond scam is being invested in media, tourism and apartments. They are in the process of taking over these sectors. These assets should be frozen and investigations should be strengthened. Officers at the Central Bank who supported the scam and gave technical advice for the scam are continuing to serve in the Central Bank, and they are supporting these rogues escape from those claims. Steps have not been taken against these officials. A strange letter has come to light. There is no date in this letter. I believe that the people who prepared this letter did so on purpose, because this letter claims that ministers instructed the governor to come up with 75 billion rupees. This is the first time that this is being stated. This is being brought forward as a character certificate to state that Arjuna Mahendran got involved in the sale of bonds in a fraudulent manner in order to provide the government with this money. This is a trick. This is something that we have never experienced before in this country.
At a media briefing today, the United People's Freedom Alliance General Secretary Minister Mahinda Marvira faced questions on the turmoil in the provincial councils.
That is not true. We will dissolve the provincial councils. I also need to comment on the North Central Provincial Council. They are crying now because people who stood with them are no more. We will not allow changes in administration in any of the provincial councils. If they are to capture power, they need my help, because even the chief ministers are appointed based on the recommendations of the secretary of the UPFA. They may say various things, but the truth is that members of the SLFP and UPFA have gone astray because of bad advice. They are now in trouble. We will take steps to bring them back into the fold.
මහබැංකුව බැඳුම් කර කමිෂන් සභාවට දැන් ණයතකින් ඉඳලා එක එක ලේඛන ඉදිරිපත් කරනවා. රහස්‍ය ලේඛන කියන විවිධ ලේඛන ඉදිරිපත් වෙනවා. හැබැයි දැන් ඒ ලේඛන සිවිල් සංවිධාන සමාජිකයන් අතරත් පත් වෙනවා. එහෙම කොහොමද වෙන්නේ?
This is a democratic country. There is nothing called confidential anymore. Even you are able to gather such information through the RTI Act. So such secrets will come out. There won't be anything left called secrets. Then an investigation should be held. I don't think those who committed acts of wrongdoing will be able to escape. This is our stance.
MP SM Marika inspected the high-risk zone surrounding the Meethotamula garbage dump today.
The parliamentarian, who inquired into the issues faced by the general public, later shared his views with the media. When we spoke to these area residents last week as well, a majority of them said that they are willing to accept compensation or a house. I presented the views of these people during the disaster management meetings. We will first resolve the issues in the main area and then turn our attention towards the rest of the areas. We are inquiring from the people in this area as to what their aspirations are, and we will prepare a report in this regard on the 23rd. We will submit this report to the President for final approval during the disaster management meeting. We will be able to fulfill this effort. Has he? I presented my argument. He has simply escaped without responding to my argument. I have no response for political chameleons.
Well, the Torrington grounds in Colombo is used by a large number of sportsmen and women for training purposes. Athletes claim that the condition of this grounds has gone from bad to worse.
The Torrington grounds, which is home to many athletes, is used by around 1,000 sportsmen and women on a daily basis. They say the premises lacks even the basic infrastructure facilities. What we mainly require is water. There is no proper water supply. Our recovery process following training is hampered because we have no water. The premises does not even have a place for us to eat. One cannot practice here. There are no proper facilities. I think it will be in the best interest to solve the issues at these premises. There are many shortcomings. The uphill has not been prepared in a proper manner. It is difficult for the sportsmen and women to pace up and down. They would suffer injuries to their ankles because of the potholes on the ground. There are no facilities to obtain water. The taps have not been placed properly. Some of the taps don't work at all. At times there is no water in the washrooms as well.
And that's a wrap from all of us here at News First. I'm Sonali Wanigabadke.
And I am Shamir Rasuldin. Join us again tomorrow, same time, same place. Till then, take care and good night.
Good night.